Hi everyone, I am Jimar Mondragon, a Master of Management student of Visayas State University. This video is made to present our findings to our chosen articles or published research paper that relates international trade. This is a requirement of our international marketing subject. I would like to present to you my chosen article entitled The Philippine Rice Tariffication Law, Implications and Issues by Annette M. Tobias, Science Research Specialist 2. The Philippine rice sector has always been the center of government agricultural policies. The focal points of the policies revolve around promoting food self-sufficiency, providing high income to rice farmers while making prices affordable to the consuming public. And now let's have the overview of Philippine rice industry. In 1970s, the Philippines became self-sufficient in rice and was a rice exporter to neighboring countries such as Indonesia, China, and Myanmar. In 1995, the Philippines acceded to the World Trade Organization with the premise of revising QRs and reduced tariff protection. Rice, however, was exempted from tariffication. The Philippines opened up imports on rice under a minimum access volume, which is in operation equivalent to quantitative restriction. The country obtained a special treatment for rice up to 2005, which was later on extended until 2012. In 2017, the Philippines is the second largest rice importers in the world next to China. The country imports rice mainly from Vietnam and Thailand. The Rice Tariffication Law. This is also known as the Rice Liberalization Act or Republic Act number 11203. This was signed into law by President Rodrigo Rua Duterte on February 14, 2019. This law entitled An Act Liberalizing the Importation, Exportation, and Trading of Rice, lifting for the purpose the quantitative imports restriction on rice and for other purposes. Primarily, the law aims to lift the quantitative restriction on rice imports and replace it with a general tariff. The law aims to protect local farmers from the entry of more imported rice into the country through the imposition of 35% tariff on rice coming from member countries of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, like Thailand and Vietnam. For non-ASEAN countries, 40% tariffs is imposed. The collected tariffs will be used to fund mass irrigation, warehousing, and rice research. The newly signed law provides for the establishment of the Rice or Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, or the RCEF, which will pipe in 10 billion annually for the rice sector for the next 6 years. The fund is allocated for the procurement of farm machineries and equipment, rice development, propagation and promotion, as well as expanded rice credit and extension services. Creation of this RCEF, and that fund will be created from tariff revenues of rice imports and will be used to directly support rice farmers and fund innovative undertakings of the government to further strengthen the rice industry. The allocated to rice areas are earmarked as follows. 50% will go to Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Modernization to provide farmers with rice farm machineries and equipment. The 30% will be released to the Philippine Rice Research Institute to be used for the development, propagation, and promotion of inbred rice seeds to rice farmers, and the organization of rice farmers into seed growers associations engaged in seed production and trade. 10% will be made available in the form of credit facilities with minimal interest rates and with minimum collateral requirements to rice farmers and cooperatives to be managed by the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines. The 10% will be set aside to fund extension services by PhilMec, Agricultural Training Institute or the ATI, and the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or the TESDA for teaching skills on rice crop production, modern rice farming techniques, seed production, farm mechanization, and knowledge technology transfer through farm schools nationwide. Let's have the effects of rice tariffication. There are two effects, the positive and the negative effect. So let's do have first the positive effect. One is lower retail prices for consumers. Possible savings for the consumers as it allows no limit in terms of the volume of imports, which will eventually stabilize prices. However, in the long run, the economy could benefit more from the adoption of import tariffs than implementations of QRs, which limit the entry of commodities and may lead to unstable prices. Second, it addressed the rice shortage, would address the urgent need to improve availability of rice in the country, prevent artificial rice shortage, reduce the price of rice in the market, and curtail corruption and cartel domination in the rice industry. Another, it lowers inflation rates. The law also reduced government's rule in rice importation and lead to more rice imports by the private sectors, thus lowering rice prices and help tame inflation. Another is interventions to support rice farmers. The fund will provide key interventions to support the farmers and enhance their competitive profitability. Now let's have also the negative effect. New lax safety nets for the Filipino farmers. Farmer groups clamor that the new law will make them compete with cheap rice imports, making them more penniless. Measures should be in place to ensure that Filipino farmers will not suffer with the rice tarification law and that safety nets are available for farmers. Another is is the potential displacement of farmers and the other stakeholders like NFA employees, accredited NFA retailers, rice millers, and rice byproduct producers. Aside from obvious displacement of rice farmers, NFA employees, and some 90,000 accredited NFA retailers nationwide, the deregulation of rice imports goes beyond the industry. Some of the businesses and industries that will be affected by liberalized rice importation includes the following: the millers, the animal feeds and beer industries, the biomass construction industry. A drop in local rice output will also mean a decrease in rice hull, which is used as fuel for biomass furnaces used in the province to provide electricity. Rice hulls are also used as a binder for cement and landfillers. The Philippine rice industry in the world. So the participation of rice industry in the Philippines is that it becomes an opportunity. The law becomes an opportunity to the ASEAN countries because of their lower tariff. Like for instance, Vietnam and Thailand, which enjoys 52% of the imports are from Vietnam and 29% are from. Much has been said on the ratification of the Rice Tariffication Act. However, the main concern is the negative impact of the rice tariffication law on local farmers, saying that oversupply of cheap rice could adversely affect them following its implementation. On the other hand, the law is seen to help expand the access of Filipinos to cheap rice that in return will prevent inflation pitch brought in large part by the supply. Nevertheless, the core concern of the government should be on how to prevent 2.4 rice farmers and farm workers from getting poorer because of the implementation of the law. Although special key preventions are already laid out to protect the farmers and the consumers, the focus is on the proper implementation so that everyone should benefit from the law. In relation to international trade, this Rice Liberalization Act or Republic Act number 11203 serves an opportunity especially to members of ASEAN that the law lift the quantitative restrictions of the Philippines' importation of rice. It indicates to them that there is a demand for their rice. And that's all. Thank you so much for listening.